Hey guys, so today I want to talk a little bit about Nazeebo's ultimate abilities, and we've gone over this in the Ultimate Advice series where we talk about which ultimate you should pick, and I see there's a pretty good split between Gargantuan and Ravenous Spirits. So I want to explain the difference of these ultimates and why and when you should be picking both of these ultimates. So before I do that, I'm going to quickly just show you what each of the ultimates do. To start off, we're going to use Gargantuan. Gargantuan is a really large body ultimate that if you place it, it will do a decent amount of damage with its auto attacks, and you can press the button again to do a giant stomp that does a lot of damage as well as slows the enemies. So he walks in this little zone, which makes him a pretty good zoning tool, and he has more health than Nazeebo has, assuming that your Nazeebo is not stacked. That is the Gargantuan, and there is also some other things to note about Gargantuan, like the fact that he can also tank things for you in the case of, let's say, let's toggle cooldowns. We can tank the towers while we throw a lot of damage onto the towers. If you're ever sieging, you can see he can tank for the majority of these pushes, as his timer actually goes down faster than the turrets kill him. So if you ever want to do a quick push and just destroy front walls right after you hit level 10, it is definitely something that you could do if you really put your mind to it. So that is Gargantuan. He's really great for zoning. He's really great for objectives where you know where the enemies are going to be. And he's good in chaotic team fights where you just put him out there and people don't really know if they should be killing him or if they shouldn't be killing him. And finally, he's great for dealing, tanking a turret or a structure while your team maybe pushes a little too far. Maybe you push underneath a structure, or you just really want to take out a structure really quickly. On the other hand, the other talent, the other ultimate ability that he has is called Ravenous Spirit. Now, Ravenous Spirit is a really high damage ultimate ability, and it brings him in more damage than he's normally capable of at an earlier stage. The range is okay, and even going further than range, you can move it with the enemies. It moves a little bit faster than other people move, so you can chase down just about anyone you want to with this, and the AoE damage is pretty significant. So you can see that over the course of its full duration, I did 2 times the health bar, a little bit more than almost 3 times the health bar of a Nazeebo. So if you were to use this against another enemy and you could stick with it for the entire time, then you could really melt through the enemy team. It's a really, really powerful ult, and it can be pretty much team fight changing or team fight deciding if you can use it correctly. But there are several downsides to Ravenous Spirit. For example, if we were to reset the talents, if we were to toggle the cooldowns, and we use the Ravenous Spirit, you can see that I'm rooted here, and it's pretty obvious where I actually am. So anytime anyone wants to go for you, they can take you out, and you're very, very vulnerable during this time. Which means that in the old time that we saw Nazeebo used in competitive, he was pretty much almost exclusively using Gargantuan. It was just more reliable, and it didn't lock you down in place for a long period of time. However, lately I have been seeing a lot more of Nazeebo being used in Division S, as well as it seeing actually a surprising amount of success. Which is why I think that Ravenous Spirit has a little bit more to offer, but you just need to understand the tanks that you're going against and know if they have any major dive. I wouldn't be picking Ravenous Spirit into someone like Diablo or Nubarak, as they can see where you are, charge in, interrupt your Ravenous almost immediately, and ruin the whole effect of it. But you can also, even in the worst case scenarios, you can also fire your Ravenous Spirits over a wall, and then there's really nothing that they can do to get to you, so you can pretty much just hang out over here and have your Ravenous Spirits do a lot of damage there. So that's primarily what the ults are for Nazeebo. Now, you've heard, usually we'll talk about the level 20 upgrades of the ultimate abilities. For Nazeebo, we don't do that, because Nazeebo, you're almost always going to be picking up Vile Infection. Both of these ultimates are extremely powerful with Vile Infection, as you're going to be doing a ridiculous amount of damage. Just hitting even for half a second on anyone with Ravenous Spirit, or just having one slam from the Gargantuan pretty much just melts an entire team. So once you hit 20, again, it doesn't matter the upgrades. So I try to give a general rule of thumb whenever I'm talking about the ultimate abilities. So the general rule of thumb is if you want to try to win in the majority of chaotic team fights, you're going to be trying to go with Gargantuan, and it will work in the majority of situations. But if your team didn't draft a lot of damage and you're worried about the early game, and the enemies don't have a lot of dive, then I would highly recommend trying out Ravenous Spirits to really increase the amount of damage you have during those fights, and possibly even just pick one target to just sit on the entire time and see if you can't just do the full health pool of one person. That is essentially the ultimate advice for Nazeebo. If you have any questions or any extra advice you'd like to add, throw it in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching.